Hello everyone, it is Friday, April 19th, and this is the video for today. So, gave a couple of picks yesterday. Let's take a look at them. Let's start with first Wells Fargo, which I liked the strength, and you can see it actually performed very well today, but I wanted to see the market. When a video came out, it was somewhere around here. I wanted to see the market get close to 506 and really try to fill in most of the losses from the prior day. Wasn't able to do that, so we didn't end up taking the trade on Wells Fargo. I think there was maybe a day trading opportunity in here, and I still think this could be a great day trading opportunity today. It showed some excellent relative strength, and still like Wells Fargo. We're just waiting for the right time to sync up with the market. We're going to talk about this pick in a second. The second one I took was the on PCS, the 3130 PCS for 20-cent credit. You can see that we are having a pretty strong compression while the market... No, it's actually not going to show it because I've turned off the visibility. While the market is tanking, the stock has been holding all of these gains very, very strongly. And even if the market tests the 100 SMA, I feel confident in on holding those gains. We have it until 510, which is the next earnings. The stock has room to run up as well to 35, 36, and we can take some nice profits over there. So that is the other pick that we are in. And let's talk about Let's talk about DFS, which was a loss. Oh, explosion alert. Let's see if this is legit or not. Oh, this could be legit. All right, we're going to take this explosion alert real quick. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so we are in this explosion alert. We're going to keep an eye on this in the next 5 or so minutes. Depends what the news is. A lot of the times we want to see UGI consider investment in propane business. All right, so there's just some investment. One that was really nice yesterday, this is kind of a side track here, but let's just get into it, was BSY. So we got this alert here. This is looking really nice, and there's takeover news. So I got into the stock somewhere here. Stock moved up, and it tested this major resistance level at 54. So I think it still has to be respected for these explosion alerts to pay off. But my thinking was, if this was legit news, very strong price action, then we would blow through 54 pretty easily, right? So we got a test, and that first test is fine, right? There's still some selling here, but we wanted to see buyers gobble up this candle and close at least by its high, or even above it, right? We really want to see no wicks on the candle. So on this third candle right here, so I got in on this candle. This lasted maybe 10 minutes. Got in here, tested this, that's okay. Another test, and we didn't really get anything, so I took a small win on that trade, and you can see it hasn't really been doing anything on that news. So with UGI, let's see if this works, but it's the same setup where there is resistance overhead. If this news is legit, we should break through it pretty quickly. If we don't break through it quickly, okay, it's not that type of crazy movement news, and we can just kind of get out of the trade for, a scratch, a small profit, a small loss. So there's not a lot of downside risk, but these kind of explosion alerts have a tremendous amount of upside potential. Okay, it's going a little crazy here. Where is my UGI chart? Okay, so very clear. Resistance looks like somewhere here is pretty major, even over here. Okay, and we got in at the pullback. So if I check my order, 25.19, so we're in profit. So this is a little bit of a pullback candle. That's okay. This next candle, I want to see get it over here. I want to see it eclipse this. If we do that, then I am interested in this trade. If we're not able to do that, then I will be out of the trade. So the time, I think, is pretty critical. Explosion alert win rate, I think, hasn't been crazy, but I've noticed that I've done better on the long side, and I've noticed that I've done better usually if the move produces quite quickly. So if I hold on to a trade, it doesn't really produce in a couple of minutes, then I am just kind of out of the position. A real bullish explosion alert should come through, and it'll never, ever, ever look back because this news has changed everything. This is a pretty choppy stock. Looks like it might be pretty newsy as well, in a big range. So, you know, again, still learning these, but an interesting side tangent that comes up. So every time I see one that looks legit, I try to take it, and then I kind of see what happens. Okay, so this has another 5 minutes to do something, so we're going to check back on this in the next 5 minutes. Let's go back to DFS. Okay, so when I took DFS, I took it right here. And as you can see, as a day trade, it clearly did not work. So the question is, why did it not work? And my answer was, because I'm an idiot. That is exactly the reason, and I'm going to explain why. So, in the morning, this stock had gone decently parabolic over here with the market, had some nice relative strength, was looking pretty good. And then, right, market pulls back over here. We're still looking pretty good, right? There's a nice bearish cycle over here. I think I got in, yeah, I got in right at 1120, and 1120 was the high of the day of the market, so ended both at the high of the day on a parabolic move, which was not great. This bearish cycle, however, was not producing, which I liked, so I think that was fine. But the fact that this stock is parabolic means that it is going to pull back. So market came down. This stock was still a good pick, right? I mean, look how well it held relative to the market. And now the market has found some support over here. And let me put up LRSI because that's the alert that I would have used here. It's going to be missed because of this ATR. Okay. Let me get my volume up as well. Here we go. Okay, so now we should be able to clearly see. So, market from the high of the day breaks to the low of the day and tests the prior day low around the 500 level, and we are just chopping around this level, right? It's just absolutely dead. Now DFS, it does come back, but it hits VWAP, so it's been pretty strong during this whole move down, and it's looking pretty decent. So we have the market here, and it's just unable to really get off the deck, and we started going meat grinder mode. So we're not taking a lot of trades, but let's say you did take this LRSI cross at 145, right? 145 is, hey, look, this has been a strong stock. I think this has a potential to go. Market moves up more. Here's our, our bullish cycle, doesn't really produce. Here's the bullish cycle on DFS, doesn't really produce, and you're able to get out for maybe a tiny win or a scratch, right? Nothing really happens on the stock. You get out for a scratch. So if I would have traded DFS, that's what I should have done. This would have been a better entry point to get in on a pullback of this parabolic move. So how can we take advantage of such information? Well. So by the way, to clarify, the mistake was DFS is a good pick. I entered at a bad time because I did some stupid dumb shit. Wells Fargo is looking pretty mighty strong, huh? It's looking pretty nice. It's looking even nicer than DFS. Now this stock could continue up, but I want to see it pull back, and I want to see it have some LRSI cross on this pullback. Otherwise, I don't want to be chasing this stock. Now it could be great, and maybe there's an entry point here, or maybe there's an entry point here, but I'm not crazy about the market right now, and I'm not crazy about chasing a stock on a market like this because I don't know when it's going to pull back. And just when you feel like, okay, now I'm ready, I've seen enough, you enter at the high of the day, boom, comes back on you. So that is the learning from that. Let's look at the other position that we have, Coupang, which has taken some heat. Coupang is probably going to be a loser. So first, let's just look at our setup. I still like Coupang on a D1 chart. I think it's very strong. It's definitely hit a little bit of resistance here, but the market has been pretty weak and it's been holding up really well relative to the market. So I still like it on a longer term time frame. The problem was with the CDS itself, I have a much shorter time frame for me to make the profit on the move. I did not get the market tailwind, and Coupang is just kind of drifting, it's holding its own. It's not doing too bad, but I just ran out of time on this trade. So what should I have done on Coupang? Well, I took the trade here as it broke through the level. It pulled back, and it was a pretty deep pullback, and then it went for the retest. And usually, even if the CDS doesn't work out initially, you have a chance to profit on the retest. Now, it didn't take profit on this retest because I felt that Coupang was very strong. And when was this? On the 16th, right? Or no, this is the 17th. I took it on the 16th. This is the 17th. Market is not cooperating. Coupang is cooperating. That should have been my clue. It wasn't a stock confidence that changed, but my shorter term market confidence that changed. If the market had compressed here, it was doing pretty well, then I'd feel pretty good. But the fact that it was not able to really get back into this candle, we saw some selling, we made a new low of the day. I should have been out on Coupang for a small win. So the mistake on Coupang was a market mistake, not a stock mistake. Not even an entry mistake. It was a market mistake. Okay. Now that we got out of the way, let's look at the market on a bigger time frame. So, as I mentioned before, fundamentally, we are still good. Got some mega cap tech earnings coming out next week. Market is pulling back, and we're looking for support. We're going to find support. So I've highlighted a couple levels. Here's this gap all the way from 222, the NVIDIA earnings move. We had 500, which was some psychological resistance. I'm going to put that maybe somewhere here. Where is this high? So maybe right below this, somewhere here. Yeah, 500. And then we have this gap fill right here at this high, 493.37. So those are going to be our levels. And you can see how the market there has been a reaction to all those levels. And this is the tricky part, and this is where we really want to trim our trade count. So we're pulling back. I'm still a one bullish technically on SPY, but remember, the deeper we pull back, the more neutral I become. So if we'd gobbled up, I would have been a little bit more bullish here. But the fact that we're actually having a longer test, that's probably going to test the 200 SMA, it looks like. Because I think if we break through this level, it's a pretty clear path. We're maybe about a day's, 1 day of move away from the SMA. That is when we could have that test. So I'm going to get into a couple scenarios in a bit, but I'm still a one bullish overall. Even if you test the 100 SMA, I want to see the move on the bounce, the strength of the bounce on the way up, and that's going to gauge how bullish we are for the next few months. Now, on a shorter term time frame, let's look at the M30 here. That's kind of a nice little way. Broke through the SMA, and then it's just been this like really weak and choppy drip down, right? Like we hit this level and we just compress in this meat grinder. Any gap up gets faded, and that actually gives us some fuel to break through the level. Gap up gets faded, fuel, we hit the level, and it's just this weak drift lower. And the reason why that's tricky is because our longer term market bias is bullish. So we want to take more bullish trades. We don't want to take short term swings as much, right? We have to be pretty short term in duration. Overnight swings are probably best. Keep them very short in duration. And we are close to a lot of support levels. We don't really know when the market's going to bounce or which support level buyers are really going to step in, right? We have ideas like 500 could be a pretty big floor. We're kind of been spending some more time below that. The 100 SMA, but it might just be that 497.37 gap fill from the NVIDIA earnings that could be the bounce. So we are wary of the bounce at any time. So that's why we really can't get anything more substantial in terms of our time duration. So that's kind of why it's in a tricky spot, and it really requires us to be very patient and very selective. So you notice that a lot of the picks I've been giving have been day trades or shorter term overnight swings, and they might look good for a day or two, and then they kind of, snap back a little bit. Like, let's look at the perfect example, I think, is Snap, where, right, this stock had a nice breakdown, took profits over here, and then we had a huge snapback into this range, all the way back to the 200 SMA. So that's kind of the danger here. Alta was doing great, and Alta still looks pretty great today. It broke through, had some continuation. So Alta has a much more bearish trend, and we could have some more staying power there. But there's also some stocks that are pretty overextended. And if the market bounces, right, we might get that little bounce back to the 8 EMA, and then we're kind of off to the races. So you want to be very particular about your setups. I've been really focusing on my day trading and also my put credit spreads. In my current account, not the one that I'm giving the picks on, but in my actual account, I have one or two that I'm going to take some max losses on today. So I'm going to see what went wrong on those put credit spreads, see if I can learn anything from them. But this is a good time, I think, to work on things that you're not good at, right? It's like I mentioned, right? I hit my win rate and stuff in a great market. Still did pretty good in March. In April, it's been tougher because we're pulling back on the major term downtrend. So it requires a different set of trades in order to make money. All right. The amount of short swings I've given in this month was pretty much all in the beginning. It was CAT, RTX, and PanW. That was the last. I only took 3 short swings. That was the only ones I took. That was it. Everything else since then has been day trades. Occasionally some overnight PDSs and CDSs that you had to be quick on and really take profits on the next day. And I mentioned some trades that looked good, but we didn't quite get the setup. So that is the trickier thing on stuff like this. So when the market finds support, then we can take some more longer term positions, some more aggressive bullish positions, depending on the strength of the bounce again and the nature of this pullback. But we have to wait for that time and wait for that opportunity to strike. And in the meantime, not lose our hard-earned gains from this rally. That's what we have to really not do. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the M5 portion of this day. So you can see this M5 chart, absolute garbage. I mean, if this was my garbage, I wouldn't even live in this house. I would move to a new house because that's how garbage this price action is. Let's start with what happened yesterday. So we get this nice move up. This is looking pretty good. Volume is pretty low, but it's some decent price action, and we hit this 504 level. We can't quite get through it. We get smacked down a little bit. Okay, no big deal, right? We want to see if we hold to this bear cycle. This 12 o'clock bar was a key candle in my opinion, because if this was a green bar and we started to inch higher, that would have set us up very nicely for a bullish trend day, and we could feel more confident about putting on our bullish put spreads. But this smacked down and became a bearish hammer. We tested VWAP. Okay, we're still looking pretty good. Long red candle. Okay, that is another warning sign. This got to be engulfed pretty quickly. Green bar. Okay, not too bad. Red bar. Okay. More bearish, more bearish, more bearish. Right? We're getting every opportunity we can to try to get something going. Bears are smacking it down. Then a little bit of throwing in the towel here. We break through this low because all these bulls over here, all these buyers over here, they're getting flushed out. Test the low at 500. Then we're in meat grinder mode. Nothing is going on. Here now again, we broke through the bottom of this range. Meat grinder mode between D1 resistance and the prior day low. Not a lot going on here, and it's hard to feel comfortable because you're not sure which way this is going to break out. So, what is our bias intraday? Let's go over some more information first. We talked about the prior day. There's still some selling pressure on the shorter term time frame on M30. Look at the price action for the past couple of days. I'd say I'm a -1 bearish in the shorter term. Intraday, I'm also a -1 bearish because got this flat open. Try to get something going in the morning. Nothing really happens. A little bit of a smackdown here. These bars get slightly flushed out. Now we're chopping around again between the D1 resistance and the prior day low and between VWAP. So it's very choppy, but we're on the lower end of that chop. So I'm a little bit more bearish. But I'm not really feeling confident in taking these shorts, again, because we are at some D1 resistance. We'd have to see that break. I also don't feel confident about taking any longs because we've had some decent selling pressure the entire day. So, or even yesterday and pretty much this entire week has just really been this choppy selling pressure. All right. So what should we do today? What is kind of our thinking? So on a swing trading basis, we really can't do anything in my opinion because I'd like to see the market get through. It has to move somewhere, right? It hasn't really done any movement. We've got to get through, in my opinion, at least 504 to do anything substantial or break below 497.50. And right now, I think the bearish side looks a little bit more attractive in the shorter term time frame. I'd rather take this break of 497.37, whatever that gap fill is. Break this level, and we have a clear shot to the 100 SMA. We can take some swings, some PDSs. We can ride that move. Let's say we make that close today. We can, I think, ride that to the 100 SMA, and then we take profits on the open if we get a gap down, because one scenario that could happen is if we gap down to this 100 SMA and we start to getting a nice bearish engulfing candle, that could be the sign that we are going to go higher. So that's why we keep it short term. This reversal could be nasty, and as a short, you could be spending way too much time covering all your losing positions instead of focusing on putting on some winning positions. Swing traders, so unless you see a movement on either one of those sides, we're not doing anything today. Day trading, you also may not want to do anything today. There are some really great stocks, and let's look at some of them that we highlighted this morning. So AXB, nice post-earnings move, coming through this high minus trend line. So I'd like to see it clear that. You can see it's hitting a little bit of resistance at that level, but long green candle in the open through the prior day high, already love. Hold all those gains, and we're inching up higher as the market's moving lower, which tells us that this move is very weak, first of all. And it's the threshold for escape velocity for a stock is a lot lower. It's a lot easier for stocks to do better in this market. BA, another one I like a lot, long green candle. It's through this minor resistance level here, and looks like it's breaking through. I want to see if I have an HA reversal alert, so I'm going to put one on here. So when it breaks through these levels, I like to set an HA bull reversal alert. So I want to see that bounce, and then the test, and then the bounce off that. Then I'm confident that we can really get something going here. Wells Fargo, hey, look at that. If you entered here, look, some selling pressure is waiting. We're waiting for this LRSI pullback. It's going to happen. And when it happens, we can evaluate the market conditions and we can get in on this. COF was pretty decent. Choppy move here, broke through, but can't really get anything going. Not my favorite stock, but still pretty decent. FIS, you can notice a theme, a lot of bank stocks looking excellent this morning, and now it's giving back some of the gains. We have an LRSI alert, so when this stock can hold VWAP, maybe we get above this trend line, which I clearly cannot draw well. Something like that. All right, that just helps us gauge sort of a nice move. We can get a nice green candle here, flat bottom HA. Yeah, then I'm a little bit interested. UNH, it's at this gap fill, tested this level. It's been crawling higher, which I like. We have some room also to some major D1 resistance at the SMA around 508. So there is some room there. Let's look at what's happening on the downside. Dash is looking pretty good. And this may be my pick of the day here. Market is at D1 resistance. So if it can get through and break through this D1 resistance, then I'd get in on Dash. And you can even do a small starter position now. But we have to keep in mind these cycles. We've got a bear cycle. It's very weak, and you can see all these crosses up and down, which means it's the sign of very weak trend strength versus something like here. Much cleaner crosses, which means a much stronger trend strength in that direction. So I like Dash as a short because we have this long compression here. We're starting to break down, and at a minimum, I like to see this stock below its 50 SMA and its A VWAP E. Has some time before earnings, and we are through some resistance levels, and there's definitely a lot of room until you could say maybe this level, maybe this gap fill support around 120. That's kind of the next major level I see. And yeah, there is another gap right here, which we are breaking through, and that's probably what it bounced off of. There's also this open of this candle, so that could be, there could be some buyers there as well. Let's see, because we got a very strong reaction on Dash. So these stackering candles meant there are some buyers here. So I feel more comfortable getting here in on the low of the day. And I think this could set up pretty nicely for kind of a compression break later in the day. We might have to test this level. So we test this level, bounced up. We need to test this level again and then bounce up shorter, and then we will break. So an example of how that would look is if I go to ANF yesterday, this is what I want to see in Dash, where we break through this level, we bounce up, can't get anything going, test it again, bounce up, can't get anything going, test it again, bounce up, can't get anything going, test it again, break. And then when we get that break, we can short. So that might be another opportunity setting up on that stock. But we got to wait and see, right? We're waiting for these opportunities to set up. We're just marking some charts that could be pretty good. So yeah, let's give some picks with some conditions. So I'm going to give a day trade short and a day trade long today. And this is what I am going to do. So let me just write this down over here. Okay, so day trade long is going to be Wells Fargo on an L RSI pullback. So here's what I want to see first in the market. We got to have at least at the bare minimum, our market bias has to be -1, mildly bearish. As long as it's mildly bearish, Wells Fargo has enough firepower to make it through the day. I want to see the market hold this support level, right? If the market's below this support level, I'm not going to take anything on Wells Fargo because this move has a chance to accelerate. So market above this support level, Wells Fargo LRSI pullback alert, and then that could be a great entry point to get in on this stock. Okay, short of the day. I am going to pick Dash, and I told you the price action I want to see. First, market has to be below the support level. That's when I'll take Dash. And this stock has to make a new low of the day. We got to break through this low of the day. Otherwise, I'm not interested. And honestly, if I had to guess, I would assume that this support level was actually here. This is probably the test. Let me just double check. Sometimes we break through and then we get the gap here. Yeah, looks like more of the high of the day. Yeah, so more of that gap fill. That's probably where I draw it, over here. Let's see if that makes sense on the chart. Broke through, yeah, we're just trying to get through this level, so there may be some fighting. Crowd is pretty decent. Broke through the SMA, holding this level. Crowd could be another one that's setting up pretty nicely. I don't love that candle on Dash. So before I give Dash, let me see if I can find another better short pick. Ulta has been pretty nice, but it's been going down steadily. See anything else on heavy sell that's catching our eye? Oh, SMCI was pretty good. Yeah, SMCI is very nice. It's hitting this D1 resistance. I've set an LRSI alert on MSCI or SMCI. So if we can get that alert, then we can really get something moving here. Netflix, if it can break the low of the day, we could see something here as well. This stock has fallen quite a bit, so set your targets pretty passive on this stock. Do a couple more checks here to see anything that sets up really nicely. Qualcomm has a nice compression break. Cost looking weak. Microsoft also one heavy sell here. It's testing its SMA though. Let's take a look at Qualcomm quickly. I'm liking this break here. Ooh, this is a pretty nice setup. Pretty nice setup. Ship stocks are a little weak here. Confirming the break through this SMA. I do. I like Qualcomm. Do I want to put Qualcomm over Dash? That's the real question. These are the questions you got to ask. So let's take another look at Dash here. They're both pretty decent. They're both quite good. I like Qualcomm a little bit better on the M5 because we got this fresh break. Volume is picking up a little bit here. Yeah, I'm actually going to switch it to Qualcomm. Qualcomm day trade short, but I need to see SPY below, again, below that level. 497. 37. All right, those are the picks of the day. So DK and Giro, by the way, we're going to count as a loss. So I'm just going to go to, whoops, okay, take out Coupang here. So we just have on. So that's really the only open trade we have, this on PCS. And we're going to take a look at Wells Fargo and QCOM as day trades on Monday. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. And I will see you all next week.